Peace and Pan-Africanism. Today we're going to talk about our Guinean Africans. The Africans in Guinea. We're going to talk about our Africans in Burkina Faso. We're going to talk about our Africans in Niger and our Africans in Mali because there's a crisis going on in the Sahel. There's a crisis going on in the Western Sahel. And today we have to decide as an African people globally whether or not what is happening in the Sahel, is it a crisis or is it an opportunity for liberation? That's the question today. We know that the president of Guinea, brothers and sisters, President O.P.A, came to power in a coup approximately 2 years ago. Has that coup been beneficial to our brothers and sisters in the land of Sekou Touré? In the land of Sekou Touré, in the land where Osajifo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah died and was buried. If you live in Guinea right now, if you are an African brother or sister in Guinea right now, the land of Pan-Africanism, I want you to message me on WhatsApp and let me know what's happening right now in Guinea. Is President O.P.A, is he a blessing to our brothers and sisters in Guinea, or is he a curse? We got to decide. Is this revolution for the benefit of the white power structure, or is this revolution for the benefit of a new African world order? That's the question we have to ask today, brothers and sisters. My brothers and sisters in Guinea, send me a message on WhatsApp. You know the number, +1 215 989 9858. You can reach me directly on WhatsApp. Nobody checks my messages but me. Nobody checks my text messages, my WhatsApp messages, my email messages, except me. +1 215 989 9858. That's how you connect with King Kong Consciousness Intercontinental. Ifatunde. I want to hear from brothers and sisters in Guinea. Is President O.P.A doing right by the people? Do you give him an A for these 2 years, a B for these 2 years, a C for these 2 years? Does he get a failing mark for these 2 years, and why? I want to hear from brothers and sisters on the ground. And when we leave Guinea, we hit Mali, one of the largest countries in Africa geographically. Mali is one of the largest countries in Africa geographically, and it is land of the great Dogon Empire, the great Fulani Empire. And I want to say this to my Fulani brethren and my Dogon brethren. We can't afford for y'all to be fighting against each other. Both of you are great kingdoms. Both of you have great history. Both of you have great culture. Both of you have great spiritual traditions. The fighting that was going on between the great Fulani people and the great Dogon people, we needed to stop, brothers and sisters. But the leader of Mali, the brother who took power nearly 2 years ago, General Goita, only 42 years old. General Goita, only 42 years old. General O.P.A of Guinea, only 43 years old. These are young black men leading these coups in West Central Africa. These are young black men. So General Goita, you are now lead of one of the largest geographical nations in Africa. You are larger than most of West Africa. General Goita, at 42 years old, the head of the great Mali people, do you have a plan of action for our people? General Goita, I'm talking to you. This is your brother, Dr. Umar Ifatunde, the Prince of Pan-Africanism. You've been in charge for 2 years. My brothers and sisters, if you live in Mali, I want to hear from you. Next, we come to Burkina Faso, the land of Thomas Sankara, the land of the upright people of Burkina Faso. We have a young brother. Ibrahim Traoré, the youngest president on the planet Earth, is in Burkina Faso, land of the upright people. President Ibrahim Traoré. And brother Ibrahim, you are a breath of fresh air, my brother. At only 34 years old, you are impressing Dr. Umar Ifatunde. But I got some questions for you. Because unlike other Africans who are swept up with good speeches, I got some questions for you and the other three leaders of what can be the new African revolution for true liberation. That's what we're going to talk about today. We got to have this conversation with our 4 young leaders in Africa. Brother Ibrahim, I think you are the real deal. I think you are the real deal. There's presidents in Africa, leaders in Africa, they talk, but they don't really do anything. They just talk. I think you're the real deal, President Ibrahim, but I got to challenge you, my brother. I still got to challenge you because I don't need my brothers and sisters in Burkina Faso catching any more hell. I don't want my brothers and sisters in Burkina Faso to suffer any more death, any more starvation, poverty, economic devastation. I need you brothers to mean what you say and say what you mean, brothers and sisters. I need you brothers and sisters to mean what you say and say what you mean. So Brother Ibrahim Traore, are you the real deal or are you acting for a white foreign power? General Goita of Mali, are you the real deal or are you acting for a foreign power? General Doumbouya of Guinea, are you the real deal or are you acting for a foreign power? And then we come to the latest coup in Africa. And then we come to the latest coup leader in Africa. And that takes us to the great Niger people. The great people of Niger, General Chiani. 62 years old, you're the eldest of the 4. General Chiani, I have a question for you. General Chiani, you've only been in office 10 days. Your coup took place 10 days ago. Your coup took place 10 days ago. Your coup in Niger took place 10 days ago. But I got to ask you a serious question, my brother. Are you doing this for the liberation of African brothers and sisters in Niger? Are you doing this for the brothers and sisters in Niger, or are you doing this for yourself? This is my question to these 4 African leaders. This is my question to these 4 African leaders. General Doumbouya of Guinea, you've been in office nearly 2 years. General Goita of Mali, you've been in office nearly 2 years. President Ibrahim Traore, you've been in office about a year. And General Chiani of Niger, you've been in office for only 10 days. But my question to all of you, my first question to you 4 African leaders whose countries make up a collective area of land that is geopolitically critical for the regeneration and liberation and salvation of the continent of Africa and African people around the world. Are you, brother, serious, or is this an ego trip? I'm not attacking you and I'm not promoting you. I'm asking a question. I'm not attacking you and I'm not promoting you. I'm asking you a question. Are you, brother, serious, or is this something for your ego? Because let us be honest. Patrice Lumumba was the real deal, but he was overthrown by a traitor. Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was the real deal, but he was overthrown by a traitor. Amilcar Cabral of Guinea-Bissau was the real deal, but he was assassinated by a traitor. Samora Machel was the real deal, but he was assassinated by traitors. Eduardo Mondlane was the real deal, but he was assassinated by traitors. Chris Hani, who should be the president of South Africa right now. I said Chris Hani, who should be the president of South Africa right now. I said Chris Hani, who should be the president of South Africa right now, was the real deal, but he was assassinated with the help of traitors. So I got to ask you for brothers. President Ibrahim, General Goita, President Doumbouya, General Chiani, are you doing this because you want power and money? Or are you doing this because you seek real revolution, real redemption, real freedom, and real independence for my brothers and sisters in Western Africa and Central Africa? That's the question I'm asking today. I want to get behind you, brothers. I want to stand in solidarity with these 4 young kings, 3 kings plus an elder. I want to stand in solidarity with you, but I got questions that need to be answered. I got questions that need to be answered because I know the CIA and the British MI6 and the French Secret Service, they have a bad habit of funding coups against African leaders who don't do what they want them to do. I got to know that you four brothers are not puppets of the French. I got to know that you four brothers are not puppets of the French. I got to know that you four brothers are not puppets of the French. I got to know that you are not puppets of the British MI6. I got to know that you are not puppets of the United States Central Intelligence Agency. I'm asking real questions, and I hope I get real answers. I'm asking real questions of the president of Guinea, the president of Mali, the president of Burkina Faso, and the new president, only 10 days in the making, the newest of them all, our elder General Tchani. Are you the real deal, or are you an opportunist? That's the question. That's the question I need to ask. I look at the natural minerals of these countries. I look at the natural minerals. Let's start with Burkina Faso. Let's start with Burkina Faso. But before I do, I didn't say peace and Pan-Africanism to my American Africans. Peace and Pan-Africanism to the American African branch of the global African family. Let me get back to Africa. If you are a pretendian, please hop off the live. If you didn't come from Africa, please hop off the live. All non-African people, hop off the live. I'm talking to people who are Black Africans and who are proud to be Black Africans and who don't want to be anything else on God's green earth but a Black African. First of all, to President Ibrahim, General Tchani, General Doumbouya, and General Goita. What is going to be our plan to stop the Arab countries from the north from invading your territory? What are we going to do about Libya, Morocco, the other Arab states that are just above you? I understand you're still fighting Islamic militants. Are we sure these Islamic militants aren't being financed by the CIA, French government, or British MI6? What is your plan to crush once and for all the Islamic militants who are threatening to take over your independent countries? We need to know what is the plan to crush the Islamic insurrection. We're not against Islam. We're not against Islam. We're not against Islam. We're against those insurgents who are using the religion to disguise their evil, selfish, and wicked agendas. What is going to be the plan in order to crush the Islamic insurgency that is threatening the independence of Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Guinea? What is the solution? But another question I have for you four brothers. What deals are you making with China and Russia that the people don't know about? Don't tell me you overthrew the previous leader to make the same mistakes that he made in Guinea. Do not go into debt to Russia, China, or India. They are not your friends. If you go into debt to Russia, China, and India, you are no longer a revolutionary. You are a puppet. I hope you're listening to me, President Doumbouya. I hope you're listening to me, General Goita. I hope you're listening to me, General Tchani. I hope you're listening to me, young President Ibrahim Traore. If you take the money from China, if you take too much assistance from Russia, if you take too many handouts from India, you become their slave. You become their slave. I'm not saying you can't do business with them. I'm not saying you can't do business. You may have to do business because your country has immediate needs before you can get yourself back up on your feet. I know you will have to do some business with India, Russia, and China. I understand. But what I'm saying is don't sign any deals that are going to be so deep, so long in their history, that you will not be able to cut the umbilical cord to the Chinese neo-colonizer, the Russian neo-colonizer, the Indian neo-colonizer. Russia don't give a damn about Africa. Russia don't like Africa no more than China. And China don't like African people no more than the United States. Everybody in Africa who is not a black African is an invader or the descendant of one. I said everybody in Africa who is not a black African is either an invader or a descendant of one. I said everyone in Africa who is not a black African is either an invader or a descendant of an invader. Do not sell off your corporations. Do not sell off your minerals. Give nobody exclusive rights to your mineral resources. Let's look at Burkina Faso. You want to know why the Chinese and the Russians are so interested in Burkina Faso? Burkina Faso has gold. Burkina Faso has zinc. Burkina Faso has copper. Burkina Faso has manganese. Burkina Faso has phosphate, limestone. Burkina Faso has diamonds. Burkina Faso has bauxite, nickel, and uranium that they need for atomic weapons. Not only that, Burkina Faso is one of the world's largest producers of cotton. And with that type of cotton, why don't you create a clothing and furniture manufacturing industry? Make your own clothing, Burkina Faso. Make your own furniture, Burkina Faso, and sell it to Africans in the diaspora. I can promise you that your brothers and sisters in Europe, your brothers and sisters in Canada, your brothers and sisters in America, your brothers and sisters in Central and South America will buy your merchandise. Stop begging for handouts. No African country should get most of their budget from handouts. Half of the countries in Africa get half of their budget from handouts from the white man and the yellow man. That has to stop. That has to stop. Half of the countries in Africa, half of their annual budget comes from handouts from thieving neo-colonizers. They shouldn't be giving you nothing. They should be paying for what they steal. They shouldn't be giving you nothing. They should be paying for what they steal. They shouldn't be giving you anything. They should be paying for what they steal from Africa. Burkina Faso, President Ibrahim, I look forward to you building a large clothing manufacturing industry that can sell African clothing all over the diaspora. You can send it to me. I'll be your contact in the United States to get clothing manufactured in Burkina Faso, sold all over North America, South America, Central America, Canada, and the Caribbean. I can promise you this. I can promise you this. We don't need handouts. We need industry. We don't need foreign investment. We need domestic industry. Africa does not need foreign handouts and investments. Africa needs domestic industry and institutions. All that cotton, let's do something with it, President Ibrahim Traore. All that cotton, let's do something with it. You could put your women to work, your children to work. You could put the men to work. We're talking about jobs. We're talking about jobs. We're talking about building the economy of Burkina Faso so our people can eat. So Burkina Faso doesn't have to depend on handouts from its enemies in order to feed its family. You also have shea butter. Burkina Faso has a large amount of shea nut. We can sell that shea butter on the international stage. Our brothers and sisters in European countries like America, in England, in France, they would love to get their hands on that shea butter. They would love to get their hands on that shea butter. You also have corn, peanuts, and rice. You can sell that stuff to us. We'll buy some of it. We can have an import-export agricultural relationship. Let's go to Mali. Let's go to Mali. General Doumbouya, you've been in charge for 2 years. What have you done, sir? Mali has gold. Mali has diamonds. Mali has uranium, copper, iron ore. Mali has lithium. Mali has manganese. Mali has bauxite, lead, marble. Mali also has some of the best and most beautiful animals in the world. Mali has rhinos, lions, crocodiles, elephants, camels, leopards, giraffes, chimpanzees, and pythons. I think it's time. I think it's time for Mali to create a zoology program for children in the African diaspora where they can come to Mali. Children in the African diaspora should be able to come to Mali and learn how to domesticate animals, learn how to take care of animals, learn how to breed and to feed animals. Do you know how much money the government of Mali would make if you start a Pan-African zoology and farming program where African children from the diaspora can come to Mali? Come on, Africans. Come on, brothers and sisters. If you're going to overthrow the previous leader and become the new leader, let's start building. Stop being consumed with ego and power, and let's start serving the brothers and sisters in Guinea. Serve my brothers and sisters in Mali. Serve my brothers and sisters in Burkina Faso. Serve my brothers and sisters in Niger. Brothers and sisters, Mali can sell your gold. Burkina Faso can sell your gold. You need to start mining your own gold and educate your own goldsmith so you can start selling African jewelry. We would love to buy African jewelry direct from African nations, not from the Oppenheimers, not from the De Beers, not from the European thieves of African gold and platinum and diamonds. Burkina Faso, start making your own African jewelry. Build a website and let us buy African jewelry directly from you. Mali, start making your own African jewelry from your diamonds and your gold. African people want to buy directly from the gold and diamonds of Burkina Faso and Mali. And then we come to Guinea. Guinea has bauxite, iron ore, gold, diamonds. Guinea has graphite, manganese, nickel, uranium. Guinea has bananas, pineapples, potatoes, and mangoes. Guinea, can you ship your pineapples, bananas, tomatoes, and mangoes to the United States? We want to support you. We want to support you. Let's stop wasting time. You've been in office 2 years, President Doumbouya of Guinea. You've been in office 2 years. Brother Tchani of Niger, you only been in there for 10 days. But General Goita of Mali, you've been in office for 2 years. President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, you've been in office for about a year. Let's start making Africa work for African people. And then we go to Niger. Let's go to Niger. Niger is one of the world's largest producers of uranium. Niger is one of the world's largest producers of uranium. That is an atomic weapon ingredient. President Tchani, what are we going to do about the uranium? I understand you want the French out, and I'm glad. I'm glad you're pushing the French out of Niger. But that doesn't mean let the Chinese come in and steal the resources. That doesn't mean let the Americans come in and steal the resources. That doesn't mean let the Russians come in and steal the resources. That doesn't mean let the East Indians come in and steal the resources. What is your plan, Niger? I know you only 10 days in office, Elder. I know you only 10 days in office, General Tchani. I know you're only president for 10 days so far. General Tchani, your revolution is only 10 days old. But the African diaspora wants to know, what are your plans for the uranium deposits? Don't just sell it off to the Russians because they smile it in your face. Don't just sell it off to the Russians because they smile it in your face. Come on, brother. Niger has coal. Niger has gold. Niger has iron ore, tin, petroleum. Niger has vegetable oil, rice, and beef products. Sell your beef products to Black America. Oh, yes, we love beef chops, brother. Beef, we eat beef. A lot of us are meat eaters. Give us that natural African beef that doesn't have any hormones. Give us that non-GMO beef. Send your beef to America. Send your beef to Central and South American Africans. Send your beef to the Caribbean and to Africans in Asia and England. You don't need investors. You need industry, and you need to start thinking up solutions. We need solutions, not saviors in Africa. We need solutions, not saviors in Africa. We need solutions, not saviors in Africa. Bring us that original, unmolested African meat. We will buy that African meat, Niger. I need y'all to think about the diaspora, brothers and sisters. Let me say this to ECOWAS, the Economic Community of West African States. I want to say something to ECOWAS, and I want to say something to the African Union. No disrespect. Are you trying to invade these countries as a favor to your European slave master? Or are you trying to invade these countries for the benefit of their African people? My question to ECOWAS, and my question to the African Union: why are you threatening invasion in Niger? Why are you threatening invasion in Niger? Is it because the United States has a large drone base there? Is it because the U.S. government has a large drone base in Niger, and they're calling on their puppets in West Africa to go in and protect their drone base? Is that what this is about? Are you old men kissing up to white men? That's all I'm asking. Are you old men kissing up to white men? I'm asking a question to the member states of the African Union and the economic community of West African states. You want to invade Niger for what? You want to invade Mali for what? You want to invade Burkina Faso for what? Why do you have a problem with these four men overthrowing French neocolonialism? Why do you have a problem with these four nations overthrowing French neocolonialism? Let's not turn this into young versus old. I don't want to turn this into youth versus elders, but it's looking like that because we have too many old presidents in Africa. We have too many elders in Africa who are heads of state who have grown lazy, conservative, and cowardly. I'm just going to be honest. A lot of the presidents in Africa are old, lazy, and conservative. Can we be honest, brothers and sisters? I'm not being disrespectful. We respect our elders in African culture. We respect our elders in African culture, but I'm asking a serious question. Why are you jumping on these brothers, but you didn't jump on the French? You didn't jump on the British? You didn't jump on the Portuguese? You didn't jump on the Americans, but you are trying to sow a war against your brother. I don't like coups in Africa. Don't get me wrong. I do not like coups in Africa. I don't. But I will say this. If a democratically elected president is a puppet and the leader of the coup is a true revolutionary for his people, if the democratically elected president in Africa is a puppet and the leader of the coup is a true revolutionary leader for his people, I will support the coup. It doesn't matter to me if it's democratic or dictatorial. What matters to me is the elevation of African people. That's what matters to me. Don't tell me you want to invade Niger because you believe in democracy. I don't give a damn about democracy. The white man pushes democracy because he knows he can manipulate elections. The white man pushes democracy because he knows in a democracy, whoever he funds the most will usually win. The white man pushes democracy because he knows he can manipulate the ballot box. Democracy ain't no solution for Africa. Development is the solution for Africa. Democracy isn't the solution for Africa. Development is the solution for Africa. And if that development comes from a democratically elected president, like Nkrumah or Lumumba, so be it. But if that development has to come from the leader of a coup like President Ibrahim or General Goita, I support development. I don't give a damn about democracy. Black people been voting for 60 years and look what they got. Black people been voting for 60 years and look what they got. Africa been voting for 60 years. What has democracy done for Africa? What has democracy done for Black America? What has democracy done for Jamaica? What has democracy done for Haiti? What has democracy done for Brazil? What has democracy done for any black people on this planet? Not a damn thing. Democracy is the child of neocolonialism. You wasn't voted in by the people. Let me explain something to you, African Union. In ECOWAS, let me explain something to you. When people are hungry, they want to eat. And they don't give a damn if the person feeding them got elected or self-selected. Let me say it again. When people are hungry and homeless, they want a place to live and they want some food in their stomach. And they don't give a damn if the person giving them the food or the home was democratically elected or self-selected. Stop pushing democracy. We want development. Stop pushing democracy. We want development. But this is what I want to say to my 4 young leaders of Guinea, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. And of course, the General Chiani of Niger is an elder in his 60s. Y'all got to come together and build a new African Union. I want to challenge President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso. I want to challenge President Damboya of Guinea. I want to challenge General Goita of Mali. And I want to challenge General Chiani of Niger to start a new revolutionary African Union. I think we need another African Union. What do y'all think, brothers and sisters? I believe the African Union is too soft, too conservative, too cowardly. We need another governing body in Africa that is composed of nothing but revolutionaries with independent agendas. I'm going to say it again. I love the African Union. It's the philosophical brainchild of the most honorable Marcus Garvey. I love the African Union. It's the philosophical brainchild of the most honorable Marcus Garvey. I love the African Union. It's the philosophical brainchild of the most honorable Marcus Garvey, and it is the practical brainchild of Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I. But guess what? Guess what? The African Union is not what it was supposed to be. And the African Union is not what it should be. So I'm calling on these 4 brothers of these 4 former French territories. I'm calling on these 4 revolutionary leaders and generals to give us a United States of Africa. Will y'all do that? Will you 4 countries be the first 4 countries in the United States of Africa? Can we finally give Africa a United States of Africa? Can we finally give Africa a United States of Africa? Can we finally give Africa a United States of Africa? I want Guinea, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso to go on record and say we are the first 4 countries of a United States of Africa. Our agenda is for complete and total liberation of the African continent. America is scared right now. Britain is scared right now. America is scared right now. Britain is scared right now. America is scared right now. Britain is scared right now because they see Guinea under independent leadership. They see Mali under independent leadership. They see Burkina Faso under independent leadership. They see Niger under independent leadership. They afraid. They scared. They think y'all going to end up infecting Chad with revolutionary African power. Where my Chadian Africans at? Where my Chadian Africans at? They think you're going to end up infecting Congo with your revolutionary spirit. They're afraid you're going to end up infecting the Democratic Republic of Congo with your revolutionary spirit. They're afraid you're going to infect Gabon with your revolutionary African spirit. Turn this into a United States of Africa. And then I want you to have a conference of all African leaders who want to be part of the United States of Africa. African Union is over. It's time for the United States of Africa. I said the ancestors have spoken. The ancestors have spoken. And the ancestors have said that the African Union is over. It's time for a United States of Africa. I'm calling on the president of Guinea, the president of Burkina Faso, the president of Niger, and the president of Mali to be the first 4 countries to sign on to a United States of Africa. That's what I'm talking about. With all these natural resources, with all this food that you have, with all these grains and crops and minerals in your countries, come on, brothers, don't let this be another coup with no benefit for the people. Is this just going to be another coup with no benefit for the people? Is this just going to be another ego ceremony? We've had enough coups in Africa. I'm telling you all, make this one count. And since your countries border one another, Since you form one continuous landmass from Guinea to Mali to Burkina Faso under Mali, Niger to the west of Mali. Come on, brothers. Come on. President Ibrahim, 34 years old. Do not get corrupted by the Chinese. They're going to come in and offer you millions of dollars for your pocket. And then they're going to exploit the land of our people. Don't fall for it, President Ibrahim of Burkina Faso. President General Goita of Mali. The Russians are going to offer you money for your own pocket. Think about Africa. Don't take the money. Think about Africa. Think about slavery. Think about colonization. Think about all the freedom fighters who died to make Africa free. Think of all those who died from the AIDS and the malnourishment in the Civil War. We cannot afford for you four to sell us out. I need you to say what you mean and mean what you say. General Chiani of Niger. Don't get comfortable as an elder. Don't get complacent as an elder. Don't get conservative as an elder. You took power. Make it mean something for the people of Niger. You have one of the largest uranium deposits in the world. Make it work. Don't just give it to the Russians. Don't just sell it to the Chinese. Don't just give it to the Indians. Don't just sell it to the Americans. Hold on to it. Don't give it to nobody right now. In fact, I think Africa needs to build its own nuclear weapons. I said Africa needs to build its own nuclear weapons. I said Africa needs its own Oppenheimer experiment, brothers and sisters. If America can have weapons, if the British can have weapons, if the French can have weapons, why can't Africans have our weapons too? Keep your uranium and make weapons for African people so we can defend ourselves against these imperialist invaders, brothers and sisters. But African Union and ECOWAS, I don't want to hear nothing more about democracy, because half of you democratically elected presidents are nothing but puppets. Half of you democratically elected presidents are nothing but puppets. Half of you democratically elected presidents are nothing but puppets for the French, the British, the Belgians, and the Americans. So don't talk about keeping America safe for democracy. What good is democracy and your people hungry? What good is democracy and your people are starving? What good is democracy and the children are being miseducated? What good is democracy and people don't even have a job? I don't want to hear nothing else about no damn democracy in Africa. We want development. And if the only way we can get development is to overthrow every president in Africa, if the only way we can get development is to overthrow the presidents, then so be it. Then so be it. I don't want to hear about no damn democracy. That's all you can talk about is democracy. But with that being said, to my four presidents, we need a plan of action. What is your 3-year plan? What is your 5-year plan? What is your 7-year plan? What is your 10-year plan? Okay? And this plan needs to include Pan-Africanism. Mali is very large. Niger is very large. Why don't you put some land to the side for Africans who want to repatriate to Africa? I'm calling on General Goita and General Chiani of Mali and Niger. Guinea and Burkina Faso aren't as large, but I'm sure you have land that you can put to the side. I want to come to your country and build a Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. I want to come to your country and build a Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. Are you going to open up Guinea, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger to dual citizenship? What is your plan for the diaspora? Are you going to open up Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Guinea to dual citizenship? Are you going to put some land to the side so your African American and African Caribbean and African Canadian and African South American and African Central American and European Africans can come home and build? Mali is a large country, General Goita. Put some land to the side and let us come home to Mali and build. Put some land to the side and let us come home to Mali and build. Put some land to the side and let us come home to Niger and build. Put some land to the side and let us come home to Burkina Faso and build. Put some land to the side and let us come home to Guinea and let us build. What is your Pan-African plan? What is your education plan? What is your employment and economic plan? What is your plan for women's development? I'm not talking feminism, and I'm not talking rainbow ganging. I'm totally against that. No true African leader would support that movement. No true African leader would ever support that movement. No true African leader would ever support that movement. When I say women's development, I'm talking about healthy pregnancies, healthy birth, education for women, jobs for women, business opportunities for women, leadership opportunities for women. Make sure our sisters in Guinea and our sisters in Mali and our sisters in Burkina Faso and our sisters in Niger are free from sexual exploitation, rape, and abuse, because it does happen. What is the plan for the women? And then I have to ask you, most of you are Afrikan nations. Most of you have Afrikan bases. Burkina Faso, you have an Afrikan base. Niger, you have an Afrikan base. Mali, you have an Afrikan base. Mali has an Afrikan base. Niger has an Afrikan base. Burkina Faso has an Afrikan base. What are your plans for Afrikan in your country? I need to know an answer to this. Don't talk revolution if you're letting the United States use your country as a launching pad for offensives against others. What is the plan in Burkina Faso? What is the plan in Mali? And what is the plan in Niger for the U.S. military base? Mali has a U.S. drone, Niger has a U.S. drone base. Niger has a U.S. drone base. And I'm just going to be honest, General Chiani. General Chiani. America don't seem too worried about your coup. They have not withdrawn their troops. America seems very comfortable with this latest coup in Niger. So my question to General Chiani, although you expelled the French, are you welcoming the Americans? General Chiani, although you expelled the French, are you welcoming the Americans? General Chiani, I find it odd that American troops are very comfortable in Niger. Are you working with the Americans? Do you plan to keep their drone base in Niger? Do you plan to keep their drone base in Niger? General Chiani, please answer me, Elder. Do you plan to let the Americans keep their drone base in Niger? President Ibrahim of Burkina Faso, do you plan to keep the U.S. military base in Burkina Faso? General Goita of Mali, do you plan to keep Afrikan in Mali? We need to know this. In order for Africans in the diaspora to support you, we need to know, what is your relationship with the United States of America? What is your position on Afrikan in your country? We need to know this. We need to know this. And by no means, brothers and sisters, by no means at all should there be war in Africa. African Union and ECOWAS, do not let the Americans, the French, or the British drag you into a war with our former French colonies. African Union, don't be a puppet for the white power structure. ECOWAS, don't be a puppet for the white power structure. Because I can see the European power structure. I can see the British and the French and the Americans making ECOWAS go to war with Mali, Guinea, Niger, and Burkina Faso. And so now Africa is in a continental war. I can see them dragging Africa into a continental war. And then the United Nations says it's a humanitarian crisis. I can see the white powers drawing Africa into a continental war. A continental war manipulated by the British, the French, and the Americans. And then the United Nations will declare a humanitarian crisis, and then the British military, the U.S. military, and the French military will invade Africa, kill kill millions of people, and recolonize Africa worse than it was before 1957. We cannot allow ourselves to be manipulated into a continental war. Don't fall for it. African Union, stop being puppets. ECOWAS, stop being puppets. Elder heads of states in Africa, stop being puppets. No war. Dialogue, but no war. But I'm hoping these 4 former French colonies start a United States of Africa. If you are serious, President Ibrahim, if you are serious, General Goita, if you are serious, General Chiani, if you are serious, President Damboya, you will be the first 4 countries of the newly inaugurated United States of Africa. You 4 countries need your own military. You 4 countries need your own economy. You 4 countries need your own currency. There should be one currency for all 4 of your countries. I'm talking revolution. I'm talking revolution. I'm talking revolution. We need a United States of Africa. We need a United States of Africa, and we need it now, brothers and sisters. And we need it now. Y'all also need a common passport. A common passport. And all 4 countries need dual citizenship for Africans in the diaspora. All 4 countries need dual citizenship for Africans in the diaspora. All 4 countries need dual citizenship for Africans in the diaspora. That is my message today. Please reach me on WhatsApp 215-989-9858. My Africans in Guinea, I want to hear from you. My Africans in Mali, I want to hear from you. My Africans in Niger, I want to hear from you. My Africans in Burkina Faso, tell me what's happening in your country. I don't want to get it from Democracy Now! I don't want to get it from Al Jazeera. I don't want to get it from the New York Times. I don't want to get it from CNN. I don't want to get it from the Washington Post. I want to get it from you. Peace and Pan-Africanism.